We need a new bride for the king. So I've managed to round up all the women in town. Some came willingly. Others, I will say they did. So, what we have here are the village girls. Some have such a fragrance. Others have such a fragrance. Now, the king, he had a party. It lasted for 6 months. My husband got me these jewels because of the party. I'm so blessed to have Haman for a husband.
Boo!
That's a pretty nice job. Yeah, he has a king too. We have 2 kings. We have a king, we have a king. This one has a scepter. That's a good thing. Without the scepter, you have to lose your head. So the scepter matters. Now, look at these beautiful, beautiful princesses. Any one of them would make an amazing wife for our king. But it's going to take a little time. I'm going to send them all to get some primping. Get their toes done, get their fingernails done, take care of the fragrance. And then you will see what happens next. Because one will be his bride, the others get lots of jewelry. It's a win-win. Anything they want. They walk into the jewel room and they say, "Oh, I like this giant diamond. Oh, and this ruby. You want some gold?" Ah, see, she's already decided which position she wants. What about you? Do you want to be queen or do you want the gold?
The first option.
She may be sorry for that choice. Sometimes the gold's a nice thing to have.
But I gotta say, we have to be queen.
Oh. Now, when my husband comes out, you know, my husband, Haman.
What are you laughing at? What are you people looking at? Hey, you kids, get off the stage!
I brought the girls
Get
you
off!
asked.
What?
Hurry, run, let's go.
Get off the stage!
We gotta go primp.
Can't have children around here. What?
Sure can.
What king? I'm gonna be the next king.
Oh, watch it, Haman.
Sidekick, get up here. What are you all looking at?
Your name is Orphan of Purim.
Sidekick, are you behaving? Good, I like it that way. I'm gonna have the scepter one of these days. Here, hold this for me. What are you doing behind my back? Hold that for me. Thank you. Hey, what are you doing holding that? Give me. Oh, hold it for me. What are you all looking at? Haven't you ever seen a defeated and broken man before? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I offend you? My name is, or was, Haman. Yes, I know, boo away. That's what they do anymore when they hear my name. I was once a great man. Men feared me, and I had power. The name Haman was feared and respected. Oh, those were the days. Me walking the streets of Susa. Walking, and Sidekick was with me. Get up here. Walking the streets of Susa. And I'm still walking and watching the fear and the respect in the eyes of those that I passed as they bowed before me.
Never.
Especially that Mordecai.
Yay!
No, he would never bow. I was just hoping. Anyways, yes, I, Haman, was once great. It all started when the king had a great feast and invited all his nobles and great people from all over his land. After we were all quite merry from way too much wine, he called to his servant and commanded that Vashti, his queen, should be brought before him. Vashti refused. She always was a stubborn one. And so the king was embarrassed. He was convinced by one of his advisors, may he go bald and all his teeth fall out, to pick a new queen. I didn't know it then, but that was the beginning of the end for me. A new queen was chosen, and her name was Esther. She was so beautiful and charming, it makes me sick. And she beguiled the king. Oh, right, they fell in love. I didn't realize that she was a Jew. How could I know? Her real name was Hadassah. Never mind that, back to my favorite subject. Me, Haman. The king honored me above all the other nobles and told everyone to bow before me. Of course. Everyone did bow except that one man, Mordecai. We got Mordecai. Where is Mordecai?
Yeah, you're right.
He had some outdated spiritual idea that he should bow to no man, only his God. He was a Jew, may their beards be dreadlocks, and he was worshipped by the God of, and he worshipped the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. How was I to know that his God was real? So I did what I always do when people challenge my authority. I find out about them. Get the dirt, so to speak, so I can threaten them into submission. I tried really hard to find dirt on Mordecai, but he was clean as a sieve for harvesting ripe grain. However, I did come up with a way to trick the king into getting rid of not only Mordecai, but all of his people as well. It was a great plan. Of course, it came from me and Haman. Give it to me. It was a great plan. I decided that I would kill all the Jews, not just Mordecai. That's right, yay. So I called my friends and we cast the pur, or lot, to figure out, will you hold this for me, please? Thank you. To figure out what the best day was to carry out our brilliant plan. And then I went to the king to sell my idea. This is what I said to the king. There is a certain people dispersed and scattered among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom, O Excellency, whose customs are different from those of all other people, and who do not obey the king's laws. It is not in the king's best interest to tolerate them. If it pleases your majesty the king, let a decree be issued to destroy them, and I will put 10,000 talents of silver into the royal treasury, for the men who carry out this business. The king would not take the money, the fool, but he said I could do whatever I wanted with the Jews. Yes! Finally, my plan was coming together. But somehow Mordecai found out about my plan, and the Jews began to fast and pray. I laughed at them. I laughed at them and mocked them. Did they really think their God would help them? After all, I am Haman. The greatest man in Persia. Oh, except for the king. My week was already going well, and then it got even better. Queen Esther invited me and the king to a banquet. Just the two of us. She obviously recognized my value and greatness. It was a fabulous meal and a great evening too. Too bad it had to be ruined by that loser Mordecai. Yay! It's just not fair that idealistic, naive fanatics like Mordecai should win out over shrewd and savvy politicians like myself. There he was, standing by the gate, not even afraid. Standing by the gate! Instead of battling like all the other self-respecting, law-abiding citizens. I was enraged. I went home and told my wife and friends how angry I was. Why did you let him get you so upset, they said. After all, you are Haman. The greatest man in Persia, beside the king. And so then they told me this: build a gallows 70 feet high and go ask the king to hang him on it. Then go and enjoy the banquet with the king and the queen. I was delighted by their suggestion, and so I ordered the gallows to be built. Sidekick, go build the gallows! So he went, he built them, now he's back. It was at this point that things started to go wrong. Dreadfully wrong. I went to the palace to request permission from the king to hang Mordecai. And was greeted by an anxious servant that quickly brought me to the king. I could hear the king yelling something about honoring great men, especially men who were trustworthy and faithful. I quickly deduced that he must be talking about me. So I went to the king. I am at your service, your majesty, I said as I entered humbly. Haman, he said. Great to see you. You were just the one I was hoping to talk to. Then he asked this question: what should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Oh, actually, he said it more like this: what should be done for the man that the king delights to honor? Wow, I thought. Who is there that the king would rather honor than me? Not only will I be able to rid myself of Mordecai, but I will be honored by all of Susa. So I answered the king, "O king, live forever. For the man that the king delights to honor, have them bring a royal robe the king has worn, and the horse the king has ridden, with one with the great royal crest placed on its head. Then let the robe and the horse be entrusted to one of the king's most noble princes. Let them robe the man the king delights to honor and lead him on the horse through the city streets, proclaiming before him, 'This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.'" The king was delighted. That's great, Haman. Get the robe and the horse and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect anything you have recommended. I was dumbfounded. How could this be? But what could I do? It was the king's command. So all that day, I walked through the dirty, dusty streets of Susa, shouting at the top of my lungs, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor!" Leading Mordecai, who was wearing the king's robe on the king's horse. How humiliating! I rushed home completely beside myself with anger and shame. How dare he do this to me? I was convinced Mordecai had conspired to reveal the story of saving the king's life as a last-ditch effort to save himself. Well, it wouldn't work. I would show him. I would show him. Right? Yes, I'd show him. Where's the snake? Where's my pet snake? Oh, we'll show him. Oh. Yes, we will. Hold on. Let's just, never mind. I told my friends and my wife and my sidekick, and I couldn't believe my ears. They told me that this was just the beginning of my problems, and that my ruin was sure. Very helpful. Me, Haman? How dare they? While we were having this conversation, the eunuchs came from the palace to tell me that it was time for the dinner that Esther had prepared. Well, I said to myself, Haman, fine, I said to myself, Haman, I said to myself, at least you still have the favor of the king and his queen Esther. I went to the dinner and relaxed. The king was in a jovial mood and was deeply enjoying his meal and his queen Esther. She smiled at me and asked how my day was and indicated that I must be tired and thirsty and offered me a cup of wine. We sat there watching the sunset over Susa, and I knew everything would be all right. Then the king asked her what was her request. Even up to half my kingdom, it would be granted. What? Was he crazy? Giving his kingdom away like that. Women, how they could turn the heart and eyes of a man. If anyone deserved half the kingdom, it should be me. Haman. My worthy thoughts were interrupted by what she was saying. And spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold for destruction and slaughter and annihilation. If we had merely been sold as male and female slaves, I would have kept quiet. But no such distress would justify disturbing the king. What was this? Who was she talking about? The king was furious. Who is he? Where is the man who has dared to do such a thing? Where is the man? Then the bottom dropped out as she said these words. The adversary and enemy is this vile Haman. How could this be? Esther, a Jew? Why didn't I know this? No, it couldn't be. The king left the table, tossing his cup of wine to the ground. My fate was obvious on his face. What could I do? I flung myself at Esther's feet, begging for mercy. The king thought I was attacking Esther, and that was the final straw. How could these things have gone so wrong? I then realized that I had been fighting a losing battle. I had set myself up as a god and tried to fight against the God of the Hebrews, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I realized too late that I was a fool, that I was selfish and arrogant. And so now, way too late, I bow my knee and acknowledge that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, He alone is God. And there is no other.
Amen.